I'm back to Tell the Truth channel. Please like, share my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and what other content that y'all go on. I appreciate that very much. I am in Jesus and Jesus is in me. All right. I have a message from the Father that He want me to speak on. And these some things about um, curse breakers, the curses that's going on to your family, and that He got certain people that He choose to break the curses in the family. And also His 10 Commandments He want me to speak on too. So this is what He's saying. The curse breakers that He has, like He has His chosen ones. Few is chosen and few is called on. And the ones that He called on are here to break curse breakers that's in the family. Like people getting molested, that's a curse. People that get beat on, like the husband and the wives beating on each other, beating on their children, so whatever, that's a curse. You know, everything that you do out here that the family pick up, inherit, is a curse. It's a curse. See, you got to look at this. Adam and Eve brought this curse on when the Father told them not to eat the apple. If they would have just stayed away from that apple, like the Father said, stayed away from that tree, like He said, and just waited on the Father to give them permission to go to the tree, it wouldn't have been no curses out here. Because, see, the devil knew it. That's why the Father tried to keep them away from it, because the devil knew that it was a curse on the tree. And that's why the Father was keeping them away from it, because He knew once they eat that apple, that it was the curse going to be on all the generation. And the devil enticed Eve when she should have just not went by that tree when the Father told them to stay away, because He didn't even want them to know that they was naked. He didn't want them to know nothing. He just wanted them to be the way they was. But they was being that Eve got hard-headed and disobeyed the Father, and she did what she did. And that's how the curse breaker started on every generation in the world. So the Father, He chose certain members out of the family to be a curse breaker. To break the curses in your generations. And this is what He want me to tell y'all. This is what He does. And it's a lot of curses in the family that this person have to go through to break the cursed generation in the family. It's a lot of things that the Father put them through. And that person that the Father chose is the only one can tell you what the Father put them through, because they are going through it. And they know when the Father is having them to come to clean up the curse breakers in the family, the things that goes on in your family. He calls on that person to clean it up. And that person got to go through the fire too, because they done been and did curse things, and they in a generation too. So they got to clean up the things that they did first, and then you got to look at, they got to clean up. After they clean up all of they things that they did, then they got to clean up the curses from the generations, from the ancestors and all of them, because they have did curses back in their days. And the person that the Father choose, they clean up that curse from them too. Then it goes on and on from their family. So the person that God choose to be the curse breaker, then they got to clean up they curses from their family to their families to their families to the generation to come. They have to keep cleaning it up till all the curses is clean. Till the Father says that these curses are cleaned up. And then you hope that the people in the family don't go out there and make more generational curses, you know, because the person don't want to keep cleaning up the curses. They don't want to keep cleaning that up. So if they cleaning up, they going to their families and they telling them, well, you know, Father got us out here cleaning up this, you know, cursed generation that y'all done put yourself into. So don't go back in it. Don't keep going back into the, you know, generation. Clean yourself up. Clean yourself up. Because see, one thing the family don't understand, that when the Father choose somebody out of the family to clean up the curses, and then you tell the generations in the family that you're cleaning up the curses for the ones that the family did all of the sinning in, that you're cleaning up that curse from what they did, and they don't believe it until that person pass on, and then the Father chose somebody else in the family. And then when the Father choose somebody else in the family to clean up the curse generation that people have done, and he called on the next person, and then they go to the family and they say the same thing that the other person said that passed on, then they start to believe it. Because right now they don't believe it because they think that's just all a gimmick. No, God ain't calling on you to clean up no curse things that we did in the family. The Father didn't call you to do all of that. No, that's just something you want us to do. The Father didn't call you to clean all that up. So the family don't believe it until the Father calls on the next person, and then that person cleans it up. Then that's when they believe it, that the Father have chose people. Because like I say, it's people that he called. It's people that have been chosen, and people that he called to do things for him. That's what he does. And just like the sins, the 10 Commandments, when people out here killing and stealing and all that, that's part of the Father's 10 Commandments. And that's one thing the Father don't want nobody to cross. It's his 10 Commandments. But so many people have crossed his 10 Commandments. They have crossed it. And that's why the Father is here. Because a lot of people have crossed his 10 Commandments. They have crossed it. And that's why he say, repent for your sins and your transactions, because you have crossed his 10 Commandments. And that's what you got to deal with the Father with. But see, people take the Father for granted when it comes to his 10 Commandments. And then they calling the Father out because they want the Father to come and speak. See, you got to look at this. This is the difference. The Father, he don't do the speaking. That's one thing the Father don't do. The Father put people to do his speaking. And then he had Jesus to do his speaking. Because the Father don't speak. And see, when y'all calling out the Father, the great I am, y'all calling him out. And when y'all call out the great I am, and y'all want him to speak, he don't talk. He show action. He don't speak. He show action. And therefore, that's when people start dropping. That's when you start seeing the walls opening, the ground opening, and people falling in the ground and all of that stuff. The earth starts shaking and all of that. That's what the Father does. He's not going to speak. He's going to show action because he don't speak. He only speak to his people that he called to do his will. That's who he speak to. He speak to the people that he have to do his will. That's who he speak to. Now, other people, he's not going to speak. He's just going to show action. But if y'all keep calling out the Father and y'all want to see, is the Father listening? Do the Father know what y'all doing? When y'all keep calling him out, and when he open up the ground and y'all seeing everybody dropping down into that ground, just dropping, then y'all will see that he's speaking. That he's speaking. And sooner or later, a lot of people been calling the Father out. And the Father been tired of hearing people calling them out. And eventually they're going to get what they ask for. Because what you wish for, you get. When you keep calling on the Father and telling the Father what you want, the Father will receive it. And he will give you what you want. So a lot of y'all been out there calling on him, wanting him to receive the call that y'all been wanting him to do, And he's going to give it to you because y'all been asking for it. And he's going to give it to you. And it's not going to be what y'all think it's going to be when he starts speaking. So that's why he says, when he sent his people to do his will, you need to listen and stop taking him for granted and listen. Because he created all of us in his image, and we all are his children. You didn't get here by yourselves. He brought Adam and Eve in here and had Adam and Eve to bear children for their children to bear children. That's how we got here. And y'all taking that for granted. How y'all got here when the Father is the one that created Adam and Eve for them to bear children, to bear us in the world. That's how we got here, and y'all taking that for granted. And that's what the Father is saying. And he's not finna stand for this. He's just not. But the ones that believe in him and knowing that they came through Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve's children brought them here. Their children brought us here. Believe in him. Like he say, believe in him even though you don't see him. He's there for you. But if you don't believe in him and you want to see him, you're going to get that wish too. Even though you believe in him, even though you don't see him, he's grateful for that. But even though you believe in him and you want to see him, you're going to get that wish. Because a lot of y'all wants to see the Father. And you're going to see him, but you're not going to see him the way you want to see him. But he's going to give you your wish. Because that's what you can ask him for. And that's what he's going to do. So like I said, he sends most of us here to break the curses on the things that the people did in the generation, in the family. Like back from the ancestors to the children that we bear in the world now. And the ones that's already here. He has us here to clean up the curses that you done in the world. You know, and that's what y'all got to understand. Like people having like a narcissist, that's a sickness. That's a curse that the person inherit. And the children inherit that. That's a curse. That's a sickness. And it's a curse. So that's what the Father wants to be cleaned up. All of that stuff, he wants to clean it up. All of your curses, the person in the family is the one that's to clean all of that up. So he only choose one person out the family to clean up all the curses that the people have done out there in the world. And that's what y'all got to understand. That's how he works. That's how he works. And a lot of people wants to be chosen by God, but don't want to follow God's rules and don't want to give God the respect that he deserves. But they want to walk with God. You can't do that. How you going to walk with God if you can't even respect God and give God the things that he asks you to do on this earth? You're not going to get chosen by God if you can't respect him and do what he tell you to do. You ain't going to be chosen by him. Because see, God know your heart. He know your heart. And if your heart ain't pure, then he's not going to choose you. Your heart got to be pure for him to choose you. He know your heart. He know your mind. He know everything about you. And if you're not a pure person that's going to follow in God's ways, then he's not going to choose you. That's the way he do. He only choose people that follow his laws, his way. Respect him, honor him, bow down to him, and put him first in your life. That's who he choose. That's how the Father works. The people that put him first, no matter what, put him first. And that's how the Father works. And that's what y'all got to understand. That's how the Father is. So a lot of people that be wanting the Father and be wanting the Father to choose them and all that, don't even follow the Father rules. Don't even listen to the Father. Give the Father backlash and all that stuff. disrespectful and all that to the Father and all that, but they want the Father to call on them. No. How you gonna want the Father to call on you when you can't even respect your own parents that He give you in the world? If you can't even respect your own parents that the Father give you, your earthly parents, what makes you think you're gonna respect the Father in heaven when you can't even respect your earthly parents? He's not gonna call on you. He's not gonna call on you. So that's what y'all gotta understand. The ones that be hollering about why the Father don't call on me, why He calling on these people, because these people respect their parents. They respect their earthly parents, and by them respecting their earthly parents, they're gonna respect the Father in heaven. So that's why He do what He does. So this is what the Father wanted me to let y'all know about. That's what the curse. That's why He's saying He bringing people back to clean up the generational curse that y'all have put on this earth by stealing, killing, robbing, all of that stuff, raping, beating on your wives, on your children, all of that. That's all a generation curse that y'all have put on y'all families, because that stuff is going on and on. People beating on their husband and wives, and then their children is growing up to beat up on their husband and wives. People is beating on their girlfriends, and then their children is growing up to beat up on their girlfriends and boyfriends. That's all what's going on. People getting raped, and then they getting raped in their families because somebody in the family is raping other people in the family. Then they going out there in the world and finding people, and they raping other people, and that's what it is. It's just going on and on and on and on. And the Father's tired of it. He's tired of it. So that's what He's saying. People raping people in the family, and then they after they rape people in the family, then the people that got raped in the family, they go get married, and then they rape their people, and then they date people, and then they rape their people. They just study raping people and killing people and all of that stuff, just going on and on and on and on. So He only picks one person in the family to clean all of that up. That's what He does. And then hoping that when they do it, and then they go tell the family, stop doing this because the Father have sent us here to clean it up, and they don't want to listen, then the Father got to send somebody else after that person passed on. The Father got to send somebody else to clean it up. And then when they hear from somebody else, then they believe it, because they hearing the same thing that the other person has said, that done went home to the Father. And now they hearing it from their children. That's the way it is. So, this is what the Father wanted me to speak on. Thank y'all for listening to me. Jesus love you. Father love you. The Holy Ghost, the angels, the ancestors, and I love y'all. And I will be back to talk to y'all again soon. Y'all have a good day and a blessed day.